안녕하세요, 터미입니다. Let's have fun learning Korean today. Today's grammar is first, 었더라면, if I had. Second, 든지, whether or. And third, 리을 듯, 말 듯하다, barely, almost, but not quite. After you learn today's grammar, you will be able to express that you almost remember something, but not quite. For example, 옛날 일이라 기억이 날 듯 말 듯 하네요. It's been so long, so I barely can remember it. Let's learn today's grammar to tell slight nuances, pass topic to level 4, and become a super master of intermediate Korean. You guys can achieve it! 그럼 시작할게요. The first grammar, 었더라면, means if I had, I would have. You can use it to express your regret or sadness, assuming a past situation opposite to what happened. You can replace 었더라면 to 었으면 or 었다면. The meaning will be the same. About the usage for verbs and adjectives, you attach 었더라면. It is quite easy because you can just make the past tense of a verb or an adjective first and then add 더라면 to the stem. For example, the past tense of 가다, to go, is 갔다, went. Thus, you add 더라면 to the stem to make 갔더라면. If I had gone, I would have. Let's look at another example with 먹다, to eat. The past tense is 먹었다, ate. You add 더라면 to the stem to make 먹었더라면. If I had eaten, I would have. For nouns, you attach 였더라면. Now, let's read a sample sentence. 내가 조금만 참았더라면 좋았을 텐데. I wish I had been a bit more patient. Here, 참다 means to be patient. And the past tense is 3, 2, 1. 참았다! Yes! So you add 더라면 to the stem to make 참았더라면. If I had been more patient, you can tell the speaker's regret, right? Then let's read the next sentence. 그때 우리가 도와줬더라면 회사가 좀 더 잘 되지 않았을까요? If we had helped at that time, the company would have gone a bit better, wouldn't it? Here, 도와주다 means to help, and the past tense is 도와줬다. So you add 더라면 to the stem to make 도와줬더라면. If we had helped. Let's read the next sentence. 내가 오빠였더라면 어떻게 했을까? If I had been the older brother, how would I have acted? Here, 오빠, older brother, is a noun, which does not have a final consonant. Thus, you add 였더라면 to make 오빠였더라면 if I had been an older brother. Quizzes! Then let's deepen our understanding with some quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 30분만 일찍 집을 지각하지 않았을 텐데. If I had left home just 30 minutes earlier, I would not have been late. Number 1, 나갔더라면. Number 2, 나간다면. The correct answer is number 1. 나가다 means to go out, to leave home. And the past tense is 나갔다. Therefore, you add 더라면 to the stem to make 나갔더라면 if I had left. Number 2 is close but wrong. 나간다면 means if I leave. It does not express regret. Then let's read it together. 30분만 일찍 집을 나갔더라면 지각하지 않았을 텐데. Then let's look at the next quiz. 내가 그때 모두가 더 놀랐을 거야. If you had told them at that time, everyone would have been more surprised. Number 1, 말하고. Number 2, 말했더라면. The correct answer is number 2. Here, 말하다 means to say, and the past tense is 말했다. So you add 더라면 to make 말했더라면 if you had told them. Number 1 is wrong because 말하고 means I say and it does not express regret. Then let's read it together. 내가 그때 말했더라면 모두가 더 놀랐을 거야. Please read it again and again until you can use the grammar naturally. Let's move on to the second grammar. 든지 follows verbs and adjectives and it has two meanings. First, it means either or. You use it when you mention more than two choices. For this meaning, you can repeatedly use grammar like 든지, 든지. Moreover, if you add 하다, just like 든지, 든지, 하다, it means do either A or B. Secondly, it means whether A or B. It expresses that any choices are fine. For this meaning, you can also say 든지, 말든지, whether or not. You can highlight the difference between the two options. Moreover, you can also say 든지, 든지 간에, whether choosing A or B, or 든지, 든지 상관없이, regardless of A or B. In addition, 든 is a shorter form of 든지. Thus, it means the same with or without G. But when you use it repeatedly, you should choose one form to repeat, such as 든, or 든지, 든지. Okay? About the usage for verbs and adjectives, you attach 든지 to the stem. And for nouns, you attach 이든지. Oh, this part is a piece of cake. Then let's read a sample sentence. 난 영화를 보든지 집에서 쉬든지 했으면 좋겠어. I want to either watch movies or rest at home. Here, 보다 to watch and 쉬다 to rest are verbs, and you attach 든지 to make 보든지, either watch and 쉬든지 or rest. Let's read the next sentence. 일이 있든 없든 오늘 꼭 회사에 가야 돼. Whether I have work or not, I have to go to the office today. Here, 있다 and 없다 are the substantive verbs. Thus, you add 든 to make 있든, whether I have and 없든 or not. Let's read the next sentence. 난 남이 웃든 말든 상관 안 해. I don't care if people laugh or not. Here, 웃다, to laugh, is a verb. And you add 든 to make 웃든, whether other people laugh. Here, 웃든 말든 means whether people laugh or not. Quizzes! Then let's deepen our understanding with some quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 내일은 집에서 책을 할래요. Tomorrow I will either study or read a book at home. Number 1, 하든, 읽든. Number 2, 했던, 읽던. The correct answer is number 1. 하다 to do and 읽다 to read are verbs. So you add 든 to make 하든 either study, 읽든 or read. Number 2, 했던, 읽던 are the past tense noun modifier. Therefore, it does not have the meaning of choices. Then let's read it together. 내일은 집에서 공부를 하든 책을 읽든 할래요. Then let's look at the next quiz. 어떤 직업을 내 마음에 드는 걸로 해. Whatever job you are going to choose, choose the one you would like. Number 1, 거르든지. Number 2, 거르건. The correct answer is number 1. 고르다 means to choose. So you add 든지 to make 고르든지 whatever you choose. Number 2, 거르건, I used to choose, is not right because it does not fit in this sentence. Then let's read it together. 어떤 직업을 거르든지 내 마음에 드는 걸로 해. Please read it again and again until you can read it smoothly. The third grammar, 리을 뜻 말 뜻하다, mainly follows verbs and means barely, almost, but not quite. You use this when you describe that something seems to be happening, but actually not happening. About the usage for verbs, you attach 으, 리을, 뜻, 말, 뜻하다. If a verb does not have a final consonant, you attach 리을, 뜻, 말, 뜻하다. For instance, 가다, to go, does not have a final consonant. Therefore, you add 리을, 뜻, 말, 뜻하다 to make 갈, 뜻, 말, 뜻하다, whether I go or not. If a verb has a final consonant, you attach 을, 뜻, 말, 뜻하다. For example, 먹다, to eat, has a final consonant. Thus, you add 을, 말, 뜻하다 to make 먹을 듯, 말, 뜻하다, whether I eat or not. Then, let's read the sentence. 하늘을 보니까 비가 올 듯 말 듯 하네요. I look at the sky and it looks like it's going to rain, but not quite. Here, 비가 오다, to rain, does not have a final consonant. Therefore, you add 리을 뜻, 말 뜻하다 to make 비가 올 듯, 말 뜻하다, almost raining, but not quite. Then, let's read the next sentence. 그는 웃을 듯 말 듯한 표정으로 말했다. He said it with a barely smiling face. I guess his face was awkward enough. Here, 웃다 is a verb that has a final consonant. Thus, you add 을 듯, 말 뜻하다 to make 웃을 듯, 말 뜻하다, barely smile. Besides, 뜻하다 itself is an adjective. Therefore, when you want to make it into a noun modifier, you attach 은이은 to make 웃을 듯, 말 뜻한, barely smiling. Now, I will give you the last example. 그녀는 미팅에 참석할 듯 말 듯 말하더니 결국 안 왔다. She said that she would attend the meeting, but in the end, she did not come. Here, 참석하다, to attend, does not have a final consonant. Therefore, you add 리을 뜻, 말 뜻 to make 참석할 듯, 말 뜻, she would attend. 참석할 듯, 말 뜻 is expressing that she is not making a clear decision yet. Okay? Quizzes! Now, let's deepen our understanding with some quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 그 문제는 말 뜻하네요. The problem seems to be easy to understand, but not quite. Number 1, 이해될 듯. Number 2, 이해할 듯. The correct answer is number 1. 이해되다, to be understandable, does not have a final consonant. Therefore, you add 리을 뜻, 말 뜻하다 to make 이해될 듯, 말 뜻하다 seem to be understandable, but not quite. Number 2, 이해할 듯 is wrong because the subject is 그 문제는, the problem. As a result, you have to use the passive voice 이해되다 instead of the active voice 이해하다. Okay? Then let's read it together. 그 문제는 이해될 듯 말 듯하네요. Then let's look at the next quiz. 목소리가 좀 더 크게 말해줘. I can barely hear your voice, so can you say it a bit louder? Number 1, 들릴 듯 말 듯하니까. Number 2, 들릴 것 같은데. The correct answer is number 1. 들리다, to be heard, does not have a final consonant. So you add 리을 뜻, 말 뜻하다 to make 들릴 듯, 말 뜻하다, barely hear. And then you want to say it as a reason. Therefore, you add 으니까 to make 들릴 듯, 말 듯하니까 I can barely hear your voice, so. Number 2 is wrong because 들릴 것 같은데 means I might be able to hear your voice. Then let's read it together. 목소리가 들릴 듯 말 듯하니까 좀 더 크게 말해줘. Please read it again and again while you imagine the situation. Homework! Okay, now I will tell you today's phrase. 지금 알고 있는 걸 그때도 알았더라면. What I know now, if only I had known at that time. By Liu Xihua. This is the title of a poem by Liu Shifa. Did you spot today's grammar? The speaker is expressing regret by 알았더라면, if only I had known. I hope we are not going to be too regretful about our past. Anyway, it's time for our homework. There are 2 assignments. The first one is to make sentences. For the first sentence, please use 었더라면. If I had, I would have. For example, 그때 비가 왔더라면 큰일 날 뻔했네요. If it had been raining at that time, it would have been a big problem. For the second sentence, please use 는지, whether, or. For example, 밥 먹기 싫으면 빵을 먹든 라면을 먹든 뭐라도 먹어. If you don't want to eat anything like bread or ramen. This sentence is something a mom would say to her children, right? For the third sentence, please use 리을 듯 말 듯하다, barely, almost, but not quite. For example, 지금 막 생각이 날 듯 말 듯해요. Right now, I almost remembered it, but not quite. Just like this sentence, you can use the grammar with 생각이 나다, 기억이 나다 to remember. And thank you for sending me homework every time. I received so much homework from you guys. I can see your effort. Now, I'll move on to the second homework, which is to memorize new words. Please memorize the 40 words from number 1441 to number 1480 on page 19 in the intermediate vocabulary list. There is a vocabulary quiz of 40 words on my website. Therefore, just feel free to try it. The link is in the description box. That's pretty much for today. You guys did a great job. I hope we can meet and talk in Korean someday. 그럼 오늘도 행복 가득, 웃음 가득한 하루 되세요. 한국어 파이팅 파이팅 파이팅!